Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Really nice to see you all. I'm glad people are joining with their cameras on as well. It's always great to see you. Hi, Maria. Um, okay, so I'm
Hi,
just gonna. Hello. I'm just giving it a couple
everyone.
more seconds. It's great that so many people are joining. What I'm gonna do, I'm going to disable the room, make sure I've got the chat open. Perfect. Okay, so let me just share my screen. Just to let you know, it is a very informal event. Obviously, great opportunity um, for you guys to meet each other, but also find out about what's ahead, about next year, about preparation for Module 1, and most importantly, meet the team as well, who will be looking after you next year. Um, so I'll just give it another couple of seconds. Let me just quickly open the chat as well. Perfect. Okay, I think I'm set up. Right, so I'd like to introduce you to my colleagues today. So firstly, Dr. Tim Galping, Program Director, and today you'll hear from him about Module 1, but also about the program itself and assessments and everything else. If you have any questions about it, obviously you'll be able to ask that. And my colleagues in the programs team, so Anushka Jadhav, Lisa Sainsbury, and Matthew Wallen, they're all on the call today and will be helping with questions, either verbally or in the chat. So the ground rules for today, keep your microphone muted unless you want to, you've got a question or you would like to say something. We very much want to make it, as I say, an impersonal, an informal call. But yeah, if you want to share anything, please unmute yourself and yeah, share your ideas, perspectives, or questions. It'll be great to have your camera on as well, if you can. With questions, we've got chat functionality, so feel free to post your questions there. Or if you do want to ask a question verbally, use the raise your hand functionality so we can then manage it appropriately. And if we do have loads and loads of questions, hopefully we'll be able to answer all of them. But if not, we'll make sure we answer any of the questions after the session and follow up after that as well. So the agenda for today is firstly, we're going to hear from Tim about the program and what to expect. And then from Anushka, it'll be introduction to program services. And then I'll talk a little bit more about your cohort, also events, and hopefully we'll have some time for networking as well. As I say, we'll have a Q&A session at the end, but if you do have any questions in the meantime, feel free to post them or raise your hand and then we'll address them as well. And from here, over to you, Tim.
Great. Thanks, Marta. So first of all, welcome to Oxford. Welcome to the program. As you'll see when you come to Oxford, so you are one of two streams of the Diploma in Strategy and Innovation. The other stream, your sister stream, is online. So when you come to Oxford, you'll see it's an amazing location, place in the world. There's really no place like it. And just the architecture, the history, all that stuff. So, and they're already built into the program, different activities to get what's called the Oxford experience. So things like college dinners, walking tours, punting, all those things that you've seen in the movies and television and very hot Harry Potter-like events, that sort of stuff. So welcome. So I want to talk you through a little bit about what to expect in the program from an academic perspective, a content perspective, the format and flow. So Marta, let's go to the next slide, please. And as Marta said, if you have any questions, just type them into chat. We are monitoring that, or raise your electronic hand and we'll call on you if you want to ask it verbally. So each module of your 4 modules has a module lead, an academic lead. Michelle Rogan for module 1, Mark Van Treska for module 2, Mary Sacco module 3, and Tom Lawrence for module 4. They're all long-serving Oxford faculty, except for Michelle. She just joined us, and she's been a long-serving faculty at previous institutions. They will coordinate the modules. They coordinate all the content of each of the modules. If they have more than one instructor, you will have them as the coordinator of those instructors. So they invite different faculty or guest speakers in different modules. So those are the people that will lead your module. So there you go. Next slide, Marta. So the way the modules work is there's 4 throughout the year. It is a concentrated program in strategy and innovation. As you've probably seen, we have other diplomas like in financial strategy, AI, global business, leadership. And so the 4 modules are what you see here. Your first module is on general strategy. The contents are all the things that you may have seen if you've done strategy in the past. It will be a refresher for some of you. For those of you who haven't done strategy, you will get exposed to some new content. So Michelle Rogan leads that, and it's 4 days with a deep dive into what is strategy, how does strategy work in different organizations, small, medium, and large, for-profit, not-for-profit, et cetera. And the second module then takes you into innovation strategy, and Mark leads that module. He teaches that, co-teaches that with Victor, and there will be typically other guest speakers in module 2 as well. They've been doing that module for quite a long time. And it's all about innovation and how organizations innovate in different industries. Module 3, globalization. That's when you're looking at crossing borders. It gets very complex. Strategy can be pretty straightforward if you're doing domestic strategy, although there's lots of complexities even with domestic strategy, but it gets even more complex when you cross borders. So the whole globalization and strategy is the focus of module 3. And then strategy and action, module 4, is all about strategy execution, because there's this thing about strategic planning, understanding where you want to go with your organization, where you want to take it. Do you have the resources, capabilities? What are your competition doing, et cetera, et cetera? But can you execute? That's a big issue. A lot of organizations have a reasonable, if not a great strategy on paper, but they don't execute well at all. So that's all about execution. That's Tom Lawrence will lead that. Again, you will have usually a couple of other instructors. William, sorry about your connection issues. Yeah, joined from a different device is a good idea. Each module is 4 days, as Lisa typed into the chat to the question that was asked. We begin on Wednesday, finish on Saturday. We've experimented in years past with different timeframes. That seems to work best. It gives you Monday and Tuesday to do some work, do some traveling. The modules are intensive. So you will have at the end of each module an assessment. So you will be assessed at the end. That's a big differentiator between our program and other executive programs. At different top business schools have various executive programs. You go, you get some content that may be interesting, but they're not assessed. So they're not an actual degree. This is an actual degree. And each module is assessed because it is a degree under our accreditation. The first 3 modules, 1, 2, and 3, are assessed with a case. So you will be given a case. You will be asked a question or 2 or several about that case. And here's how each module works. Thank you for that, Marta. So then it's an individual assignment for each of those case analyses that you will do as your assessment at the end of each of those first 3 modules. And you turn that in electronically in a system called SAMS, and you'll get exposed to all that when you arrive. You'll get oriented to it. The key thing about your assessments is don't procrastinate. If you wait till the last minute, you're going to have a problem. That's where most people have issues. So the 4th module is assessed through what's called an integrative case. That is an actual research project that you will do. It's twice as long from a word content or word length perspective. And that is a case that you choose for yourself, your own organization, an organization you might be interested in another industry. It's up to you. And you will do some research, and you will define your own question. You'll answer that question in that assignment. You get a couple months to do that assignment or more after module 4. So you get plenty of time to do that. But again, if you procrastinate, you typically run into problems. So people that start early typically do a decent job of that. The other assessments, you'll get the case, and then I think you have about 2 weeks before you have to turn that assessment in. So yes, the slides will be made available to you after the session, Bradley. So for each module, you get some pre-work, you'll have some reading, you may have to look at a case or two or several. So each instructor, you'll have an electronic site for each of your modules and for the overall program called Canvas. That's the electronic learning site that we use at Oxford. And Canvas, you log in with your own unique login. It will have all the readings. It will have all of the module content and flow and topics. And that's where you go for everything about the program, as well as each module will have its own Canvas site. So you'll have some pre-work. We realize you're busy, you have jobs, you have families, you have other activities, you're doing this on a part-time basis. So, reading every article or book that you're assigned cover to cover is unrealistic. So at least skim them, get the general ideas of them. Some of you might want to dive into them and read them word for word. That's up to you. It's all about time management. So prepare for each of these modules. And then when you're in the modules, participate. We don't do straight lectures where we just talk at you as faculty. You'll get asked questions. You'll be analyzing cases. You'll be talking about your own organizations, etc. So feel free to raise your hand, chime in, and the instructors will manage that process. So just a few dominant people don't dominate the entire conversation. We involve everyone. And then after each module are the assessments. So again, module 1, 2, and 3, it's a case analysis. Module 4, an integrative, final integrative assignment, FIA as it's called, and that's a case of your own choosing, your own organization, your own industry, whatever it might be. That's up to you, and you define the question for that. So that's how each module plays out. In between each module, you will get what's called an integrative case session, or during the module. It depends on whether, so Hanan Alhadi runs that. She's been in the program back in 2019. She's a PhD. She's also a senior manager at Ford Motor Company in Detroit. So she will run a case, integrative case session that will tie everything together of the module, as well as tie each module together across the program. So Hanan ran that last year for both the in-person and online, and we got good feedback on that. So we're doing that again this year. It's a 90-minute session. It may be in person during your module, or it may be online after each module, but she will run 4 of those, one for module 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the students seem to get a lot out of those from how do you use the tools, frameworks, templates, and apply that not only to the case assessment that you're being given, but also to your own organization. So another thing that you'll get in between each module is an M&A deep dive, 90-minute online session. I run that for the both diploma cohorts. So that's online with the online and online with you, all together on the same session. Because that's my area of expertise. I've written a couple books on it. I've done consulting in M&A over the years, for many years. So I do expert witness. I still do consulting in mergers and acquisitions. So that is something that since I've become the director of the program about 5 years ago, I offer that as a value add. And so M&A is a specialized area of strategy. So I take you through the different kind of aspects of M&A. I can't make M&A experts out of you in 90-minute sessions, but at least it gives you a bit of a deep dive into different aspects of M&A. So that's in between each module as well. We'll schedule those. We'll let you know when those are. And you'll also get an electronic copy of my latest M&A book as part of that. So next slide, Marta.
Tim, just before we go, can we address Leanne's question? How will ethics be integrated into the module? So maybe I can come back to the
How will
previous mod.
ethics say
Yes.
again?
How will
Okay.
ethics be integrated into these
Yeah,
modules?
ethics is a big issue that we address in all modules. So ESG is a big topic that across the strategy world, as we've all seen in the news over the last several years, it varies from industry to industry and geography to geography, company to company, organization to organization. So ethics are a big part of that. Around the E, the S and the G, the environmental, the social and the governance. So ethics is brought into, each of the modules in the discussions. You'll see it pop up during the readings. You can ask questions about it and stimulate some discussion yourselves. And then I encourage you during, a big part of what you get out of coming to Oxford is your cohort. You're going to be in the room with a lot of experienced people, a lot of diversity in the room from geographical perspective, different industries, different functions, different experiences, and have those conversations because you'll learn as much from your cohort during the modules and the discussions that go on that are led by the instructors, but also in between the modules. So each cohort typically sets up a WhatsApp group where they send messages to each other and plan different social events or whatever your self-organized things that you want to do. That happens all the time. And, but you can also have discussions at breaks, at lunches, in between. Some of our cohorts organize sessions in between online sessions where they have somebody at their company or their organization, government, NGO, whatever it might be, that might be interesting for the group to hear from. And you'll self-organize that. That's up to you as a group. So you will elect 2 cohort representatives, as they're called, after module 1. And if there's more than 2 people, you actually have an election that if there's only 2 people that volunteer, then they get selected. They will attend the diploma committee meetings each term. So there's 3 terms at Oxford: Hillary, Michaelmas, and Trinity, as they're called. So it's typically, those are autumn, winter, and spring. And so those cohort representatives can also help you self-organize those things. It looks like Natalia's already put your WhatsApp group link into the chat as well. So yes, ethics is a big player as part of strategy, and it can't be avoided and it shouldn't be avoided. Okay, next slide. So these are the key dates. Again, these slides will be made available to you when your assessments are released, when they're due. As you can see, you usually get a week or 2 to turn in those assessments. And if you feel like you're going to miss the deadline, you can ask for an extension. So let me point out there's a couple of key frustrations that people have at Oxford. One is the assessment. Because if you wait till the last minute, you may run into a glitch with the system to turn it in, and you will be docked points for that. So don't wait till the last minute to turn it in. Give yourself a buffer of at least a few hours. So if you do have a problem, you can sort that out. Another frustration about assessment is it takes a while for you to get your results back because the whole assessment apparatus at Oxford is a separate division of the university. You can't come to the faculty and say, why did I get that mark? Why didn't I not get that mark? That's not a thing at Oxford. It's double blind assessed. So you get 2 assessors. You don't know who the assessors are, and you only put your student number on each of your assignments that you turn in. You don't put your name. So the assessors can't identify you, and you're not identifying the assessors. It's the most robust assessment system I've ever seen at a university. I've been at 3 universities now since I started teaching back in 2005. And so, it's not like taking a math exam where you have an exact answer. There's a lot of judgment that goes into these, difference between a 100-meter dash in the Olympics versus, the judges that judge gymnastics or ice skating. And so you'll get experts looking at your submissions, and you will get a mark below 50. So 49 and below is failing, 50 to 69 is pass, and 70 and above is distinction. That's different for some of you that come out of like the US educational system. So 49 below fail, 50 to 69 pass, 70 and above distinction. It's really hard to fail at Oxford. Only 1 or 2% of people actually fail, and it's usually our quantitative courses, like in our MBA around accounting, finance, the mathematics trip a few people up. It's also really hard to get distinction. Only about 15% of people across all programs in the school and Oxford essentially get distinction, meaning you're distinct from the group. So most of you will regress to the mean, albeit a very high mean. So you'll get between a 50 and a 69. And that's all goes through the apparatus of the assessment team, as it's called at Oxford. The exams team, those are the people that you ask for extensions. If you feel you're going to miss a deadline to turn in your paper, you can get an extension and avoid a penalty for turning it in late. Again, you can't knock on a professor's door and say, why did I get that? Because the professor may or may not have been the one that was one of the 2 assessors of your paper. That's just not a thing at Oxford. That's all a separate apparatus. The second frustration, oh, and you don't get feedback. You'll just get a number in your first 3 assignments for modules 1, 2, and 3. You will get feedback from on your integrative assignment from the 2 assessors after module 4. So you will get feedback on that integrative assignment about what you did well, what you could improve. The other big frustration is the IT system. You're going to have what's called a single sign-on. You'll get oriented to that when you come to Oxford, but I call it a sort of single sign-on. I have 2 sign-ons. I've been at Oxford for 8 years. I have never had 1 sign-on, so I always have 2. For certain things, I have to use one or the other. So, and those of you who are in IT, I know you want to come here and just fix the IT system in your first, your 1 year at Oxford. That's not going to happen. We have Tim Berners-Lee, who invented the World Wide Web, on our faculty, and I still have 2 single sign-ons. Don't ask me, it's just the way it works. So I'm trying to prevent, or set expectations right up front. The assessment will frustrate some of you, as well as the IT system, but it all works. And the assessment system is very robust. IT system works. Can be a bit frustrating with the more than 1 sign-on, that sort of thing. Okay. Lisa's putting answers to questions about there's things on Canvas about all this stuff, and you'll get more information on Canvas than you ever wanted. Typical module week, again, Wednesday through Saturday, they are full days. You will have work to do before the module, during the module. You'll have different activities, your walking tours, your punting, your college dinners are very cool. They're in the colleges that have been arranged for you either on a Wednesday or a Thursday evening. Some cohorts decide they want to dress formally for those, and the men wear tuxedos and the women wear gowns, whatever. That's up to you as a cohort. There is a dress code. You're not supposed to wear jeans. You should have a jacket. And it's a very Harry Potter thing. You'll see that when you do the college dinners. It's very traditional. There's usually a welcome speech. I'll do the first one. I'll come to your college dinners and just to kind of welcome everyone there. But after that, I turn it over to the cohort. Your 2 cohort reps will do your pre-dinner speech in the dinner for module 2, and then they'll delegate that for modules 3 and 4. So that module weeks, you will have half an hour breaks, hour-long lunches. So we try to give you plenty of time to do your emails and that sort of thing. Next slide. All right, over to our program team. I guess it's Anushka because Lisa's in the background typing in answers. So Anushka, take it away.
Thank you, Tim. Hi, everyone. So exciting to meet the new faces that will be joining us in January. Can we have the next slide, Marta? So Lisa and I will be your program managers for the next year. We're points of contact if you need anything, if you have any questions. Marta has done a fantastic job of bringing you here. Admissions is sort of helping you get enrolled. And once you're enrolled, once you've paid the deposit, you're handed over to us, and then we sort of help you through the journey over the next year. You'll meet a lot of different teams in your time here. So you'll meet admissions, you'll meet library, you'll meet IT, you'll meet AV. But we sort of help you liaise between all of the different teams, and we sort of become your points of contact for the year that you're here. Once you're done with your program and once you've graduated, you of course go on and meet the alumni team. But again, don't hesitate to reach out to us because you've been with us for the year. We're still around. Yeah, can we go to the next slide, please? Right. So as your program managers, one of the most important things for us to do is to help you make sense of the crazy Oxford experience. Tim has been talking to you quite a lot about all of the exciting things that are coming your way. But one of the things to also remember is that while it can feel a little bit overwhelming in the beginning because there's so much going on, we're here to sort of help you sift through your experiences, help you get a sense of who do you reach out to. It's a big place. There's a lot going on, and it can feel a little there are lots of competing interests. Let's say you'll always want to do 20 things and you'll have one time slot available and you'll not know how to pick things. So we are around if you need any help, any advice. I just also did my master's here at the university, and I know that it can be a bit chaotic when you want to do everything. But yeah, you're here to have a good time also. So make sure that you don't sort of put too much on yourselves. You're here for the program, but you're here for the experience, and make sure that you sort of find a way to balance these things. And if you need anything, we're around to help you with your onboarding, help you with induction, get a sense of what do you do here. There are lots of different policies that you have to navigate through. So if you have any questions, we can sort of guide your way through them. Eventually, you'll have class reps. Again, the process will sort of be very clear to you soon. Those of you who have paid the deposit will have gotten some emails from IT about your lifelong email access. You will also soon get added onto Canvas. You'll get a Canvas activation. And once you are on the Canvas, you'll get a sense of what are the sort of policies that you need to read through, what are the next steps, how do you sort of get access to all of your emails. So we'll walk you through all of these different processes. And if you have any questions along the way, just shoot an email and we'll help you through it. We can't, unfortunately, bend university regulations to write your assignments for you, but short of that, we're here to help you. Can we go to the next slide, please, Marta? Thank you. So Tim has already told you quite a bit about the Oxford experience. For the first week here, one of the things that we have is a college dinner. It's actually at my ex-college, so I'm really excited about it. Yeah, might be slightly biased, but I think it's a wonderful college, so you'll have a great time. We'll also have a walking tour in your first week here because it's a good way to get a sense of the city. There's a lot going on. A lot of times when we think of the university, we think of it as one space, but it's really the whole city. The whole city is a university. And that's a very exciting thing to be a part of, but also takes some getting used to. You'll have 5 different buildings in 5 different corners of the city, and they're all yours, kind of. So getting a sense of that is nice. So we'll sort of take you through a walking tour in your first week here, and that'll give you a sense of the city. We'll also try and get you into, can we have the next slide, please? Your associate college. So everybody will have membership with a college, an associate membership. This college that you will be part of is St. Edmund Hall. We call it Teddy Hall, which I quite like. It's a really lovely college. It has some very famous alumni, as you can see. And so you'll have a chance to sort of have a dinner there at some point. We'll definitely try and arrange a tour as soon as possible, most likely in the first week, but no promises yet. So you'll get a chance to see what your college looks like very, very soon. Can we get to the next slide? Right. So a few logistics that I think will be relevant to all of you is, like I said, as soon as you've paid your deposit, you will get an email from IT, which will give you a sense of what your email access looks like. A few days after that, maybe a week after that, you'll also get a sense of what are your Canvas activation details, how do you get onto Canvas, and then you'll be added to your Canvas sites, which will give you a sense of what are your programs looking like, what are your modules looking like. It takes a bit getting used to about how do you sort of understand and orient yourself around Canvas. So we are trying to Also give you an orientation for that. So that's scheduled on the 21st of January. We'll send you more details again as you start getting access to your emails. So don't worry about that. We'll send out more details. But we do have an induction sort of scheduled in, so you don't have to worry about how do you handle all of these different things that are going on. Again, we know that everybody has very, very busy lives, so we're going to try and make this process as easy as possible so that it doesn't feel like a lot of extra work to get oriented to this new system. And then your module launches on the 5th of February. So pretty excited to have you on board. We'll take some more questions towards the end. I'll now scan through the questions in the chat and I'll take them up towards the end if that's okay. Can we go to the next slide?
Thank you very much, Anushka. So I'm happy to take it over from here. But yeah, if any questions for Anushka at all, or the programs team, anything about the program or Oxford experience. If not, we'll move on, and then obviously, yeah, there'll be time for questions later as well. So I probably know most of you, but for those who don't know me, I'm Marta Schofield. I'm a recruitment manager. So yeah, very, very happy to see you all here today. And of course, once again, huge congratulations for getting offers on the 2025 in-person Diploma in Strategy Innovation. So really, really happy to have you on board and with us next year. So I wanted to introduce you to your cohort very briefly. As you knew, the deadline to apply was a couple of weeks ago, so we're still processing some of the applications. It's not the full picture, but I thought I'd give you a kind of a sneak peek into your cohort. So it's as always, a very, very diverse group. As you can see, really good representation. I want to say these are the nationalities that represented in the cohort. As you know, we collect information on nationalities, but also geographical location. So I thought I'd give you a sneak peek into the nationalities, which is a great range of people coming from all over the world, which is great news, which means we're going to have so many different perspectives and ideas in the class. And another sneak peek into kind of different jobs and titles, what people do. Hopefully you'll have more time today to speak to each other as well. But again, just wanted to give you an idea of the representation, different kind of levels, what people do. We've got people with more technical background, and we've got people who have been in consulting, have been leading teams and organizations, for years. So very, a lot of experience there. And actually wanted to highlight kind of the latest figure was that in your cohort, we have 705 years of work experience altogether, which is, I think, amazing. And the average age of the cohort is 42 years old. And the female representation will be somewhere close to 50%, which is also brilliant, because this is something that we always try to achieve, kind of the gender balance in our classes. Okay, so hopefully people will not disappear now. I appreciate maybe some of you might not be able to join, but please do stay for the breakout rooms. I think it's a great opportunity for you to start meeting your cohort. Of course, some of you have already met each other, maybe in online events. We also had an in-person event in Oxford a couple of weeks ago. But what I'm going to do, I'll put you in
Marta,
very small... Yes?
Before we jump into that, there's been a couple of questions, mainly from
Okay.
them. So,
Okay.
The whole assessment thing, don't let it freak you out. And I know some of you are going to be totally obsessed with, I got to get distinction. That may or may not happen. So there was a question about, is there a criteria for distinction? We don't do rubrics at Oxford. The way we describe it is, we graduate creators, not imitators. If we give you a rubric that says you need to do these 5 things or these 7 things on this assignment, then we get a mimicking of those 5 or 7, whatever things on that assignment. So the assignments are to essentially assess your ability to apply the concepts, tools, templates, material from each of the modules to, again, in modules 1, 2, and 3, a case that's given to you. Module 4, it's a choice of what you want to do your integrated project on, your research project. So, and you will get more information about that final integrative assignment. So there is no rubric for distinction. Are you distinct from the group? And then you will have an opportunity to get distinction in each of the modules as well as across the whole program. And then the distinction, there is criteria for getting distinction across the whole program. I can't remember what it is. It's on Canvas. Lisa pointed you in that direction. There's an assessment area of Canvas with a lot of information about how that works. But you have to give about a certain mark on each of your 4 modules, and then you get distinction for the whole program. Again, because it is called distinction, not everyone gets distinction, because then there would be no distinction people from the group. So there would be no distinction by definition. The other question was, can you check the assignment in intermediate review? It is an individual assignment. You shouldn't be reviewing each other's. You will put an own work declaration under each of your, when you turn in each of your assignments. So when you submit that, there's an own work declaration, meaning you've done your own work. Nobody's done it for you. And you haven't gotten advice from anyone like your cohort. So you shouldn't be reviewing each other's. And also you can't go to the instructor and say, am I in the right direction on this? That's just not allowed by the exams team at an apparatus at the university. So it is your own work and there is no intermediate review. So those were the 2 main questions there. Yeah.
Thank you
Marla?
very much, Tim. Yes, thank you very much. So if we happen, let's go into breakout rooms. I called it speed networking. So we're going to have probably less than 5 minutes, but as I say, the groups are quite small. Introduce yourself, tell us where you're from, what you do, and also do share a fun fact about yourself. So let's start, let's start getting to know each other. So you should be able to join the rooms now, and we'll see you again in about 5 minutes. What I want to do is to do another round of speed networking because you are quite a big class, and I think it'll be good for you to meet more people from your class. I know you were in quite small groups, so I can see some nods. So if everyone is happy, let's do another round for another 3-4 minutes. Just a quick hi. This is what I do, and then we'll come back and kind of finish off the presentation. So if you give me just a second, I'll make sure. Well, hopefully you end up in different teams, but if not, hopefully you'll find something to talk about. But yeah, enjoy. See you soon. Resume the recording. Yes, there was a question about slides, and so we're going to share the slides. We're going to share the recording as well, hopefully before we close off, before the 24th of December. So hopefully early next week you'll receive everything from us. But just for the next couple of minutes, anyone, please volunteer to let us know about any insights or interesting facts or anything you learned about your classmates today. Whoever is brave to unmute and talk. Augusta, I know it was you. Come on, let us know.
All right, then first, it's really, really nice to start meeting everyone already in person. What for me, but I already anticipated this will be one of the most exciting part of the program, to meet people from such diverse and interesting industries. I met someone working at IBM. I met someone, a very interesting thing, who are very introverted, but actually are also acting in their free time, and they are expressing their other side through this way. And also I met someone from Malaysia. I have never known a person from Malaysia before who works in the gas industry. So hello to everyone. Of course, I wasn't able to immediately memorize all names, so please apologies for this, but very soon probably I also know the names of everyone, and this is really very exciting to see the diversity, basically.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much for sharing, Augusta. Yeah, gosh, some interesting insights. We look forward to the acting. Hopefully we'll see a bit of that next year, whoever that was. Right, okay, so let's continue. And of course, yeah, if there is time later, we'll talk more about any insights and interesting facts that we've learned today. So I just wanted very quickly to remind you about the team, because you probably met so many people throughout your journey. Our team is quite big, so you'll meet Tom Parnell on module 1. He'll be doing an introduction and a welcome when you start your first module. So the recruitment team was on the left. Probably some of you have spoken to my colleague Pagan before, but other recruitment managers also look after other diplomas that we have in our portfolio. you've probably been in touch with either Joe, Alex, or Abigail while you were helping us to process your application, and of course the programs team as well. And yeah, you've met Anushka, Lisa, and Matthew today, but you might be meeting the rest of the team on your program as well. And I just wanted to let you know that, yeah, there'll be kind of more people that you'll be meeting, but also we'll all be looking after you next year. I also wanted to remind you that we have optional workshops that will be delivered online in between your modules. They are open to all diploma participants. So that's going to be a great opportunity to meet other students on other diplomas. So here are some dates, and essentially we have 3 impact workshops and 3 insights workshops. Tim will be delivering one of them in June, but also maybe those who attended the in-person experience day in November, you already met Athol, who was talking about leadership. So he'll be presenting again. You will be notified about all of these sessions in advance as well, but I just wanted to let you know, maybe you can pencil in some dates already if you're interested in joining these. But essentially the impact sessions are all about industry insights, kind of challenging maybe trends in the industries that you're interested in. So it'll be great if you could join. And the other side of our workshops is all about more kind of career management and career progression and professional and personal development with the experts. And here, so some of you, again, have seen this slide before, but I wanted to kind of show you the timetable and the programs that the recruitment team that I'm in look after. So we'll look after 5 diplomas, 7 different streams, but also masters in major program management, masters in global healthcare leadership, and we very closely work with Executive MBA team. And essentially here I wanted to highlight that when you are on campus, for example, in February, do bear in mind that the week before and after, you also have other diploma students. So if you happen to be in Oxford beforehand, try to connect maybe with other students and see, yeah, if you can meet them either at, say, business school, or maybe join them for dinners, for drinks. In April, you'll have an opportunity to meet the Diploma in Global Business participants, and also our master's cohort. They'll be there during the same week with you. In July, it'll be Diploma in Organizational Leadership that will be on the same week with you. And again, in October, you'll have students before and after who are also studying diplomas and other executive programs at Said Business School. So I thought it'd be good to share this for your knowledge, for your networking opportunities. I have been asked as well to kind of let you know how to get involved in other events. So essentially, when you join Said Business School, you will be invited to the events that will be organized by the programs team, but also Said Business School. And there's an opportunity to join the wider university events as well. So on this page on the left, you've got Said Business School LinkedIn group. It's an open group, and you can become obviously a member and just keep an eye on different events, initiatives, programs, kind of any news. It's a great opportunity to kind of stay up to date and keep in touch. On the right, if you go to Said Business School website and go to the events section, you'll find a whole plan of events, upcoming events, but also past events. And again, when you're in Oxford, it's a great opportunity to keep an eye on it, because there will be events running at the same time when you are on campus. So you can obviously join those. And over here, it's kind of wider opportunity. So on the left, you've got Oxford University events page. So again, you can just Google Oxford University events. It'll bring you to this page, and you can search for events and certain dates, or maybe certain subjects. And on the right, also do check St Edmund Hall website and their events, because again, you will be invited to some of these events, but it's something you can inquire about as well. I have taken these screenshots back in November, so obviously it's all out of date, but from January, I'm sure their schedules will be very busy again. So take this opportunity. What I heard from students this year is that they didn't get a chance to get involved in any of these throughout the year. And they started taking opportunities only towards the end of the program. So start thinking about it in advance. And if you do want to kind of, expand your networks and get involved in other programs and initiatives, maybe keep an eye on these websites. We are not going to do maybe another round and see. if we have any questions, but also I wanted to remind you that kind of the next steps would be if you haven't paid your deposit yet, as Anushka was explaining, we can't give you access to the systems, we can't generate your email address. Essentially, that's the kind of step number one for you to stay up to date with what we're doing. Once you've paid your deposit, you do need to complete the survey to get onboarded, but also university card form. So make sure everything that the admissions team have sent you, if you've submitted that, you've completed that, because again, that helps us with the process. If you do need a visa, so make sure you are following up with that, and we can provide necessary information and documentation. Just get in touch with us or the admissions team. And then further information will be provided to you in terms of, we will have a profile book, so we'll need some information for that. So please be cooperative, and the more you can provide to us and the quicker it is, the better, and the smoother we can onboard you and have it all ready for you as soon as possible. Essentially, so that's the plan. If you're following all of that, then obviously you'll be ready for the 5th of February for Module 1. Join us and take it all from there. So we do have about 5 minutes for any additional questions. Feel free to put them in the chat or raise your electronic hand if you're happy to speak, and then maybe we can take another couple of minutes on that. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so I can see the chat better. Okay, Ignace, you're asking about the invoice for the second installment. Yes, so it all sits with the admissions team, and essentially they communicate with the finance team, and once your invoice is ready, they'll send it over to you. But don't worry, you haven't missed anything at all. How can I receive the pre-reading material? So I'll leave it with you, Anushka.
The pre-reading material, all of it will be available on Canvas. So if you've paid the deposit, you will get a lifelong email from IT. Once you've gotten that email, I will also add you onto Canvas. You'll get your pre-login details. Once you've logged on to Canvas, you'll be able to access all the reading material. Yes, all of the modules will be uploaded onto Canvas. So you'll get some pre-reading material, and then once the sessions are done in person, you'll also get the slides after the session.
Here we go. Question from Leanne. Has anyone booked their accommodation, first of all? And if you have, please share some ideas.
That's something we shouldn't do on the call, but on your WhatsApp group, that sort of thing. And
yeah, I can add in there. There are a wide range of accommodation options in Oxford, hotels and Airbnbs and guest houses. We do have some suggestions that again will be shared on Canvas, which many of you will be getting access to soon.
And a question from Bradley as well. Any formal events to pack for during Module 1? Okay.
We'll have welcome drinks, we'll have a formal dinner. So yes, please.
it's not tuxedo formal, but you should, when you go to a college dinner, you typically will wear a jacket, no jeans. That's usually something that they expect.
Any restriction on attendance? That's a question from Archman.
Attendance for what? On attendance for what?
Archman, if it's easier to unmute, please do so as well.
You're muted. Archman, attendance for what?
Yeah, for the modules, means the classes.
I can take this. Hopefully I'm answering it correctly. I mean, you are expected to attend all modules, all days, all teaching within all modules. Clearly, we understand. Everyone has a personal life. Some urgencies can come up. If something happens, please speak to Anushka or to Lisa. Let them know, and we can kind of make arrangements where necessary. But yeah, you are expected to attend all modules.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Problem. I think there's a question about dress. There are a few questions about dress code. So just to clarify, like Tim already mentioned, you don't really have to have a tuxedo. You can have any formal wear is allowed. And national dress also counts. So if you'd like to wear that, that's completely fine also.
Yeah, a lot of our nationalities will wear their local whatever formal dress is in their locality, which is
Mm.
cool, actually.
Yeah, quite wonderful.
Tim, I think there's a question to you from Emma regarding case studies. Are these templates, are there templates for typical case study structure that Oxford suggests following?
Yeah, I mean, you'll get that in your modules about how to, it's typically, understand the problem that's presented in the case. Every case typically has at least a problem, if not more than one. What analysis would you do? And then what recommendations would you make? And most cases don't have a right answer. There's a range of right answers. A lot of cases are assessing your ability to do the analysis, and how would you approach the problem, and how do you legitimately back up your recommendation for quote unquote solving the case, and your solution may be as valid as long as it's backed up well, as valid as another person's solution that may be a bit different. Some cases do have a right answer, but there's usually more than one right answer to a lot of cases. So
Okay, thanks. That clarifies it.
yeah, you'll get a chance to work through that, especially module 1. I know Michelle Rogan does quite a few cases with you. And then we've gotten a lot of feedback about Hanan's sessions, her integrative case sessions that she will do either towards the end of each module or in between each module, about how they're very helpful with kind of bringing all the content of the module together, and then also connecting to apply to a case, and then also connecting each module across the program, which is helpful. So good.
Thank you very much, Tim, and for everyone for all of the questions. It looks like no more questions, but of course you've got our details. So if anything comes up, let us know. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been great seeing you all again. I hope you enjoyed the opportunity to briefly meet each other again, and we very much look forward to meeting you in person in February. Have a lovely festive break. Enjoy some time off. Hopefully you're getting that. And then, as Anushka mentioned, there will be further communication and sessions organized for you. So just keep an eye on your emails. I will be sending, as I said, recording and the slides early next week, and also link to the feedback form. So please fill it in. It should take only about 20-30 seconds, but it's really helpful for us to make these events better and really understand what works for you, and how we can improve future events. So please take 30 seconds to complete that, but it'll all be coming in an email to you in the next couple of days. And I think we can close it here.
Thank you, everyone.